Hey, this is Jordan, and this is a crash course introduction to Ball Aerospace's COSMOS. COSMOS is a command and telemetry controller software. It's open source, it's produced by Ball Aerospace. So here's a crash course in basic operations and pointing you to good resources. So if you Google Ball Aerospace COSMOS, you come up with the site. If you click on the first link, you can go to the full installation instructions, which is pretty straightforward. You follow, you get it installed. Once you do get it installed, you can see, for me it installed in the C directory and in COSMOS, and then within COSMOS here is a demo project. The demo project, you have to launch the launcher within the project. I'll show you this later for a different project that you have to launch the launcher within the folder you need. So let's open it up and see what happens. On this launch window, you'll see a CRC. This is calculated each time the program is launched. This also is when the files are scanned to see if any changes are made. So as we'll see later, if you edit any of the files, you'll have to shut down the program and relaunch it for those things to take effect. So for the demo, if you just click on this command telemetry server, it'll start up a demo where it shoots out different packets for you to kind of see the functionality of stuff. You can see various things going on. Specifically, what's nice is the command packets. You can see that 2 collects were sent to the target inst. You can view the raw in hex, or you can view the command sender. From the command sender you can send these commands. So this is the target, this is the command. It has drop downs so you can select other things. And then based off of how the commands are set up, you can fill in different values and you can hit send. Telemetry packets are similar. You can see these ticking up as we go. Something useful is you can clear the counters anytime you want, resets everything back to 0. Logging, you can start logging and stop logging. The logging system COSMOS uses, it creates a binary file that records all the data that came through. So for this demo project, the binary files are stored under config and targets inst outputs. That's where it is. It's in outputs. Outputs logs. So here you can see there's text for the messages, but then these binary files are what you're after. And when you hit stop all, it closes this binary file. When you hit start all, it starts a new binary file, so you can control what is logged. So that's a basic overview of the command and telemetry server interface. A couple other things to note. Limits monitor can be a nice way to visualize data. You can set things up so that there are different fields. You can color code them based off of values that are accepted. Here you can see things are sweeping up and down and things are added, and anyway, you can do lots of cool things with the limits monitor specifically. Related to the limits monitor, you can go into the telemetry viewer. In the telemetry viewer you can access, like I said, some more things. You can create limits windows that will track whatever you want. I'll go a bit more into where that's actually stored later. In this demo, it's got this command window. This is very convenient. Instead of sending packets through the command sender here, if you open up this collect command, you'll see in this case, in this demo, you can send a collect command with different parameters, and you can do it here. This, the telemetry viewer way, tends to be more convenient. It's a little more customizable. You can set it up as a nice GUI, where the command sender is a lot more raw. Both send the same thing though, both work, so there's just different options for what you want to do. Another thing that's useful is this telemetry grapher, and in here you can take and you can add something from data. Sure, let's go with that. I don't even know if this will actually work. And you hit start, And here you see, yay, it's graphing. This graphs it according to seconds. You can do some work to make this graph look more like what you want. But this is really useful. And that is about it for the major things that COMOS offers. Command Center is here. Again, you can view things in Command Center, which boots up into here. There are just various different ways to access different things. So, getting more into the development of these different things, and specifically I wanted to look at sports version of how everything is run. So this is kind of a visualization. Now I'm going to pull up, kind of show a real project, not the demo project, and where files are stored. For a more in-depth on how to actually customize these things, COMOS has a documentation tab, and you can dig deep into this. This has wonderfully great stuff, and you can look around. This has a lot of what you need to know. The problem is often it will give you examples of like different pieces of code to write, but I feel like it's lacking in where those lines of code should be stored, like which file and where that file should be. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. So here we have, this is a project we have, and here's the COMOS folder. So to launch the Sport COMOS, you have to use this launcher. So again, the launcher is specific to the folder it's in. This is the Sport COMOS launcher. So this will launch the program using these files. If we come in here and look into config and targets, in this case we'll be looking at the Pi. Here's a couple of things to note. So again, note that the demo running is just a demo, it's not the real project running. But these different packets, they're outlined both the command and telemetry packets. If you look at these in the packet viewer, they have itemized what the packet item is and a value, and this is exceedingly useful. And where you set up that is in config, targets, whatever your target is, and then this command and telemetry. If you open this up in a word editor, Notepad++ is what I'm using here. So this shows that there's a command, it's sent to the Pi instance, this is the command name, this specifies little or big endian, here's some text that goes along with it, and then here you have various parameters. You can dig into the documentation and understand this a bit more, but in this case, this is parameter. This is what the parameter is called, and then here you have bit fields, bit lengths for different things, what type it is, and then the range of values it can be, and the default value it is. So that's really convenient. Also in here you can have specific things. For example, if we look at this telemetry sweep, so this is a telemetry packet, whereas before, where'd that go? Here to go. This defines a single command packet. Here's another single command packet. This other file here in the command telemetry folder, this identifies a single item, a single telemetry packet that can be received. So similarly, this declares telemetry. You've got the Pi, you've got the name, little endian, what it is, and then here you have a bunch of items. In this case, this is a very long packet, as you can see. We actually used Vim macros to populate this entire thing, which was exceedingly useful. But that's where this packet is defined, is again in config, targets, your target, and then command telemetry folder. So that's useful there. I also, in this demo, showed this telemetry viewer, and when you click on the telemetry viewer, it pops up Oh. That's awkward. It's obviously, there we are. Also, it tends not to like it. Oh, here's the telemetry viewer. This instance is already running, hence why it was yelling at me. COMOS sometimes does that. You have to make sure that you actually look at all the different windows for COMOS. Occasionally it can get mad at you. So if we come in here and we look at this commanding screen, this commanding GUI, this is nice because you can set it up in all different ways, and the place you do that is, again, config targets, whatever your target is, screens. So for our specific display, we've got this text file. I took and used the demo project and carried it over, but you set it up so that you've got a title. These are red, green, blue colors, and just a couple of settings, and then you define a box, and then within this box you can define, like, this is a check button, so similar to how this is a check button, that corresponds to this, which is a check button. It's called a science check button. And then here's a big long if statement that, depending on if named widget science is checked, then do stuff, and you can do things like send commands. This one's pretty big and nasty, but so for example, in this, it's got send an idle, a config, or a calibrate command. So make a button that shows something like this send button. Send state command, that's what this label is. And then if idle is checked, then issue the command to the target, idle command. And then this idle command is, if you go back to your commands.txt file, this would be, hey look, right there, idle command. So that's kind of how that works. You can set up files in this screens directory, and within the screens directory you can access them from this telemetry viewer. And you just select which one it is. So COMOS is Ruby, which can sometimes, I don't know, depends on if you know Ruby. I didn't when I started this, but this is Ruby. It works well for what it does. You've got lots of different files in here, and you have to know which files to use for different things. Again, if you edit any of those text files and you want to edit, for example, you want to make a custom command window, you have to edit the text file, save it, and then completely close out of everything COMOS, and then relaunch it from the base folder where this is running. So that's just a quick introduction to COMOS. Hope you enjoyed it.